They welded that steel gate across my legal road at 6 a.m. while I was still sipping my first coffee, then slapped a screaming orange HOA notice on it that read, "Unauthorized access. Violators fined $500. The road? Mine. Recorded easement, surveyed, stamped, older than their cookie-cutter subdivision, and every fake smile on their board. The woman who ordered the midnight welding crew, Melinda Voss, clipboard queen of Harmony Ridge HOA, stood 20 feet away filming me like she expected me to lose it on camera. She had no idea I don't explode. I collect receipts. And 30 feet behind me in my truck sat the binder, holding the single sheet of paper that was about to turn her little kingdom into a punchline. You think suburban drama is just barking dogs and lawn-length complaints? Try living on the edge of a perfect Colorado foothill neighborhood where every blade of grass has to be exactly 2.5 inches and every breath needs board approval. I'm Ethan Caldwell. I run a small custom furniture workshop at the back of my 5 acres. That gravel lane cutting through the lower corner of their subdivision has been the only way in or out since before any of these beige McMansions existed. Without it, no deliveries, no clients, no business. Simple. Legal. Mine. Melinda made her first move on a crisp October morning. I was unloading lumber when her white SUV rolled up, window down, perfect bob haircut catching the sun like a crown. "Morning, Ethan," she chirped, all sugar and steel. "We've noticed quite a bit of commercial traffic on our community road. Section 7.3 of the covenants is very clear. Non-resident vehicles require prior approval." I wiped sawdust off my hands, looked her dead in the eye, and smiled the way you smile at someone about to step on a rake. "Funny thing, Melinda. It's not your road. County records show the easement was filed in 1987. Your subdivision broke ground in 2009. Math's not on your side." Her smile didn't crack, but her knuckles went white around that clipboard. "We like to keep things pleasant for everyone," she said sweetly. Translation: submit or else. That was the spark. What followed was a slow-motion masterclass in how power-hungry people turn neighborly into nightmare. First came the polite letters demanding road usage fees. $125 a month for a road I own the right to use. Then the late-night photos of my truck. Then the motion sensor cameras hidden in the pines, red lights blinking like judgmental little eyes every time I drove through. I caught one board member on my property at dusk measuring my fence posts with a tape like he was CSI, lawn crime. I just hit record on my phone and asked, real calm, "You lost, buddy? Your covenants say nothing about trespassing on private land to play detective." He scurried off muttering about encroachment. I laughed the whole way back to the shop. Their rules were so airtight they forgot actual state law existed. The rumors were next, Melinda's specialty. Suddenly neighbors who used to wave started crossing the street like I carried the plague. Heard he's turning the place into a noisy factory. One mom whispered loud enough for me to hear. "Kids won't be safe." I let it ride. Let them talk. Every screenshot, every voice memo, every county complaint form they filed against me went straight into the binder. I wasn't fighting fire with fire. I was building a bonfire. Then came the sabotage. One morning my truck hit a brand new pothole someone had dug and filled with loose dirt, just deep enough to rattle teeth and scare delivery drivers. The next week the road sign pointing to my shop got spun 180 degrees, so GPS sent people into a cul-de-sac. Cute. Real cute. I fixed it, documented it, and kept my mouth shut. Because I knew the grand finale was coming. People who weaponize rules always overplay their hand. At dawn on a perfect blue sky Saturday, I rolled up to the usual spot and slammed on the brakes. A 6-foot steel gate, freshly welded, concrete footings still wet, padlock the size of my fist. Orange sign flapping. Permanent closure for community safety, HOA approved. Melinda stood on the other side in her HOA polo, arms folded, looking like she'd just won the Super Bowl. A couple board members hovered behind her like nervous backup dancers. She raised her phone. "Any comments for the record, Mr. Caldwell?" I stepped out slow, binder under my arm, and walked right up to the bars. "Melinda," I said, voice low, almost friendly, "you just violated Colorado Revised Statute 38-33.3-302 and about 6 other laws I could quote before breakfast. Blocking a recorded easement isn't community safety. It's a Class 2 misdemeanor with fines that'll make your next Botox look cheap." Her smile faltered for half a second. The board voted. Majority rules. I opened the binder, held up the yellowed 1987 deed, so her camera caught every stamp. Majority rules inside your little clubhouse. State law rules out here. And this paper says you just built an illegal barrier on private property. She laughed, actually laughed. Good luck proving that in court, Ethan. We have lawyers too. That's when my attorney, Sarah Klein, stepped out of my truck. She'd been waiting in the back seat the whole time. Morning, Melinda. I'm counsel for Mr. Caldwell. I already forwarded the video of your crew welding at 5:47 a.m. to the county attorney and the sheriff. They're 20 minutes out. Also, interesting note, those cameras you installed? Paid for with HOA dues without member vote. That's embezzlement territory in this state. Want to keep filming? The color drained from Melinda's face faster than cheap paint in Colorado hail. By the time the sheriff's cruiser rolled up, half the neighborhood had gathered, phones out, but not the way she wanted. The deputy took one look at the gate, one look at my deed, and shook his head. Ma'am, you can't weld your way around recorded easements. This comes down today, and you're looking at a removal order plus restitution. Melinda tried one last stand. But the covenants, Sarah cut her off smooth as glass. Covenants don't override state property law, Melinda. You just spent community money to break the law on land you don't own. That's going to be a fun board meeting. The crowd started murmuring. One guy who'd avoided me for months stepped forward. Wait, he's allowed to use it. You told us he was trespassing. Another woman. You said the road was HOA property. You made us all scared for nothing. Melinda's perfect posture finally cracked. She looked small suddenly, just a woman whose throne was built on sand and spite. Within an hour the county crew arrived with torches. I got to swing the first cut on that lock myself, sweetest sound I've ever heard. The gate swung open like a defeated flag. Melinda stood frozen while board members quietly stepped away from her, already rewriting history in their heads. By the next emergency HOA meeting she was relieved of duties in a unanimous vote. The cameras came down. The absurd fines disappeared. And the neighborhood? They started talking to each other again, instead of through Melinda's rumor mill. Turns out when you stop letting one control freak play God with other people's lives, folks remember how to be neighbors. So here's the question that keeps me up at night. Was Melinda really just enforcing the rules for everyone's good? Or did her addiction to power finally hand her the exact shovel she needed to dig her own grave? Who truly abused their authority? The guy quietly using his legal road, or the woman who turned an entire community into her personal fiefdom until the law reminded her what real rules look like? Drop your worst HOA horror story below, because the next Karen might be reading this, and she needs to know the binder is always watching.